Picture this. You're standing on the boardwalk, the sun just set. You feel the breeze from the ocean and you hear the waves crashing. And then, boom! A loud firework goes off. You look up into the sky and then more go off. And you see this beautiful wave of fireworks in the sky. Well, today, we're going to be setting off a firework in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. What's up, YouTube? Zero here. And today, I have a legendary spell review of the Dazzler in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. In this video, I'll go through the overview of the Dazzler that I'm utilizing in this video. Then I'll get into some more gameplay and I'll talk about the pluses and minuses of utilizing the Dazzler. I'll talk about where you can go to grind for the Dazzler if you're looking to grind for it. Then at the end of the video, I'll get into Fate or Hate. Is the Dazzler fated to be in the Fate Maker's inventory, or are you going to hate it and should you trash it immediately? Let's talk about my Dazzler. I have the Jacketed Dazzler, and this is a Conjurer spell. My damage is 707 multiplied by 7. A lot of 7s on this Dazzler. The critical chance is at 12%, and the cooldown is at 10.8. This also deals electric damage for 205 damage per second with a 52% chance, so a very high chance. You are fine, of course, even when those fireworks are going off, you're going to be fine. On spell cast, this increases gun damage by 30% for 10 seconds. This has increased spell damage by 20%, minus 10% spell cooldown, plus 6 projectiles per cast. And this is a fire and forget, it is a Conjurer. And of course, it is highly effective against wards because it does deal that shock damage. Now that we've talked about the Dazzler, let's get into some more gameplay. And as we're getting into some more gameplay, I do want to say if you do enjoy this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more Tiny Tina's Wonderlands content. Do a bunch of other RPGs, so feel free to check those out as well. Thank you so much in advance for doing so. I'm so close to 3,000 subscribers, and by close, I mean, yeah, about 1,000 subscribers away. Without further ado, let's talk about the Dazzler. The Dazzler only comes with shock type damage. So if you're looking for a spell that deals shock type damage, the Dazzler may be the one for you. I utilize it a lot when I utilize equipment that soaks enemies. So the Cape of Tides, in which you can soak an enemy, causing them to be weak to shock damage. I utilize the Dazzler a lot in combination with that, because you can dole out a lot of damage to an enemy. Now what the Dazzler does, you can see, we have multiplied by 7 projectiles. We are casting a firework, and what it does is that projectile zips around the target or the target area. So you can deal a lot of damage either to one target if the target's big, perhaps a boss, or a lot of different targets if you're facing a group of enemies. So the Dazzler is multi-purpose, can be utilized in a lot of different scenarios, making it very versatile. Now, one of the negatives is it doesn't necessarily track. You can see right there that all of the different projectiles kind of went everywhere, which is okay because they can hit multiple enemies. But sometimes I may want just my one Dazzler to hit the enemy in front of me, in which I'm not doing so. So sometimes if you do want a spell that just hits one enemy, this may not be the one for you because sometimes it doesn't do that. There are spells that are better at just doing damage to one enemy so you can concentrate your damage, whereas the Dazzler, it does hit multiple enemies. It's seeking out those enemies, but because you have those multiple charges, they're not always seeking out one enemy. So it can be better for hordes of enemies. Not always best for just one enemy, but you can still do a lot of damage, as you saw there, to one enemy. Now let's talk about where you can go to grind for the Dazzler if you're curious about getting the Dazzler. All you have to do is go to the Chaos Chamber. That's right, this is a Chaos Chamber drop. So grinding through the Chaos Chamber gives you a chance of dropping the Dazzler if you are curious about adding it to your inventory. Now that we've talked about the pluses and minuses, let's get into Fate or Hate. Is this spell fated to be in the Fate Maker's inventory, or are you going to hate it and should you trash it immediately? I mentioned earlier in the video I do utilize the Dazzler a lot in combination with Cape of Tides. I absolutely love Cape of Tides because you can deal increased shock and frost damage to enemies, and it's significant. The Dazzler it does have the 7 projectiles, can all hit one enemy and deal massive amounts of damage to that enemy. But sometimes it is a risk as it can latch on to other enemies in a vicinity. It's very good at dealing high amounts of damage to groups of enemies and sometimes against one enemy. I've been utilizing the Dazzler a lot. I really do enjoy it and I recommend you doing the same. Check it out and let me know what you think in the comments section. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, peace.